Hey guys, this is a huge one for those of you that suffer from lower back pain and stiffness or tightness, or want to avoid suffering from that. So I used to work out early in the mornings, like 4:30, 5 a.m. and my back was always kind of stiff and tight, and it took a while to loosen some of that up. And what I found was some interesting research that showed that actually first thing in the morning, any heavy lifting, running, excessive bending forward really compromises the spine and dramatic increase in the chances to injure your back and cause some long-term damage and some pain. And the reason for that is basically so all day long, right, when we're bending, twisting, turning, carrying objects, sitting, working, the little discs inside in between the bones here. So on this model here, you've got a bone, the disc, and then the bone. So what that disc does throughout the day, you guys, is it just slowly compresses, and it starts to basically kind of dehydrate to a certain extent. You lose some of the fluid content within that disc as those compressive forces are occurring throughout the day, right? And that's also why sometimes if you already have back pain, the back pain is a little bit worse at night because you've gone through that whole day of compressive loads, right? So then what happens is we sleep, hopefully, we're resting and repairing, the tissues are healing up, and what happens with that disc that's been compressed is there's fluid that's going back into it. So it's actually starting to get rehydrated, and it's actually getting a little bit taller and more dense with water and fluid, which is actually why the tallest will be in the morning, right? If we measure ourselves in the morning versus the evening. Nevertheless, now the disc is a lot more stiff. It's not nearly as pliable or flexible. So you wake up in the morning, and if you're like me, sometimes you wake up and you're like, man, it's a little bit stiffer and tighter. And after maybe an hour, 2 hours, you start feeling a little bit better, okay? So here's the problem with exercise first thing in the morning. Okay? That disc is really stiff and tight. And so when we go into this flexion mode, or we're lifting, weight, whether it's a squat or even overhead press or just even light weights, any added load with that compressive force, when that disc is not very flexible, can really cause big issues. So it can cause the disc to bulge or rupture or slip, those type of things. And when that occurs, the compressive loads aren't able to be sustained, and the disc all of a sudden bulges or pushes. If you can see that right there, it pushes out upon that nerve root, right? That's like really bad. You're in a world of pain, curled up on the floor. Not a good situation at all. So I know it's maybe not the most convenient thing for some people. You work out first thing in the morning, that's your routine, and it works really, really well for you. But I used to be that same person, and it's made a huge difference for me to switch that and not do that in the mornings. So you may want to wait that first full hour before actually working out in the mornings, and you'll notice your back pain will start to get much better, and the chances for you to injure yourself is a lot less overall. And just longevity of your back, like you've got one spine, that's it. The longevity of your back will be much better if you at least are up for 1 hour before you start doing those exercises and working out, okay? I'll go over my morning routine in another post and what I do and why, and it may be a little bit surprising and counter intuitive to what you might think it might be. So hopefully this helps.